Well, sir, I do know where it is, but if I were you, I wouldn't start from here. I attain nirvana, liberation. Why do you want to attain it? Because the very fact that you're wanting to attain it is the only thing that prevents you from getting there. Distinction between voluntary and involuntary behavior disappears. Have arrived in the scene or out of the scene later than the beginning of the scene.
It's very easily and readily available. Well, a lot of people got baptized, and it doesn't always take. People fall from grace. Why do they? You see, we're just talking about the same old problem, but we've put it a step up, but it's the same problem. How can I improve myself was the first problem. The second problem is, how can I accept grace? They're both the same problem, because you've got to make a move which will put yourself out of your own control into the control of a better. If you don't believe in the Christian kind of a God, you can believe in the Hindu kind of a God, who is your inner self. You see, you've got a lower self, which you can call your ego. That's that little scoundrelous fellow that's always out for me. But behind the ego, there is the Atman, the inner self, the inward light, as Quakers would call it, the real self, the spirit, which is substantially identical with God. So you've got to meditate in such a way that you identify with your higher self. Now, how do you do that? Well, you start by watching all your thoughts very carefully, watching your feelings, watching your emotions, so that you begin to build up a sense of separation between the watcher and what is watched, so that you are, as it were, no longer carried away by your own stream of consciousness. You remain the witness, impassive, impartial, suspending judgment and watching it all go on. That seems to be something like progress. At least you're taking an objective view of what is going on. You are beginning to be in a position to control it, but just wait a minute. Who is this self behind the self, the watching self? Can you watch that one? It's interesting if you do. Because you find out, of course, that this is just as the problem of grace is nothing more than a transposition of the first problem. How am I to be unselfish? By my own power. It becomes how am I to get grace by my own power. So in the same way, we find that the watching self or the observing self behind all our thoughts and feelings is itself a thought. That is to say, when the police enter a house in which there are thieves, the thieves go up from the ground floor to the first floor. When the police arrive on the first floor, the thieves have gone up to the second, and so to the third, and finally out to the roof.
for being here. I'm grateful for your existence and your presence here. We're here to talk about accepting ourselves, to think about accepting ourselves, to learn how to accept ourselves. And we're here to learn together.
I can't claim to tell you
That I completely know. So let's learn together. everyone's having a wonderful Sunday morning so far. Afternoon, or maybe it's Saturday night where you are. I don't know. Not sure how time works. I mean, I have a vague idea of I understand that there are, 24 time zones ideally, but I think there are more than that. But we're not here to think about time. Time doesn't exist right now. Time never existed. It's just a concept. It's a way of measuring change. And change is something that we are going to talk about today. I know most people, including myself, have things, ways, behaviors, thoughts that they would like to change. So, how do we do that? Spend a lifetime trying to change. But does the trying actually help us to change? We set schedules and go see therapists. Maybe you might have a midlife crisis and buy a new car. Maybe you might decide that you want to have a change in your career path, and maybe you might decide you want to quit your job, drop out of society entirely. I don't know. More power to you. But how do we make these changes? Let's think about that for a little bit. But the idea that I have is that we make these changes by accepting ourselves as we are. Because until we do that, we don't really even know what it is that we have to change. Let's just meditate on that for a little while, and I'll be back. Chump Slick. So good to see you, brother. We're just meditating on the idea that in order to actually make the changes that we want to make in our lives, first we have to accept ourselves as we are. Play the wrong note. But is it really the wrong note, or is it just the note that I played? glad you're enjoying it. I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning. As far as being alive goes, I think that's a meditation for another day.
Distances between them and so on. Instead, it has become fashionable, and it is nothing more than a fashion, to believe that the universe is dumb, stupid, that intelligence, values, love, and fine feeling reside only within the bag of the human epidermis, and that outside that, the thing is simply a kind of a chaotic, stupid interaction of blind forces. Courtesy of Dr. Freud, for example, biological life is based on something called libido, which was a very, very loaded word. Blind, ruthless, uncomprehending lust. That's the foundation of the human unconscious. And similarly to thinkers of the 19th century, like Ernst Haeckel, even Darwin, T.H. Huxley, and so on, there was this notion that at the root of being is an energy. And this energy is blind. This energy is just energy. And it's utterly and totally stupid. And our intelligence is an unfortunate accident. By some weird freak of evolution, we came to be these feeling and rational beings, more or less rational. And this is a ghastly mistake, because here we are in a universe that has nothing in common with us, doesn't share our feelings, has no real interest in us. We're just a sort of cosmic fluke. And therefore, the only hope for mankind is to beat this irrational universal solution and conquer it nicely. Now, all this is perfectly idiotic. If you would think that the idea of the universe as being the creation of a benevolent old gentleman, although he's not so benevolent, he takes sort of, this hurts me more than it's going to hurt you sort of attitude. You can have that on the one hand, and if that becomes uncomfortable, you can exchange it for its opposite, the idea that the ultimate reality doesn't have any intelligence at all. At least that gets rid of the old bogey in the sky, in exchange for a picture of the world that is completely stupid. Now, these ideas don't make any sense, especially the last one, because you cannot get an intelligent organism, such as a human being, out of an unintelligent universe. The saying in the New Testament that figs do not grow on thistles nor grapes on thorns applies equally to the world. You do not find an intelligent organism living in an unintelligent environment. Look, here is a tree in the garden, and every summer it produces apples, and we call it an apple tree, because the tree apples. That's what it does. All right. Now here is a solar system inside a galaxy. And one of the peculiarities of this solar system is that at least on the planet Earth, the thing peoples. In just the same way that an apple tree apples. Now maybe 2 million years ago, somebody came from another galaxy in a flying saucer and had a look at this solar system. And they looked it over and shrugged their shoulders and said, just a bunch of rocks. And they went away. Later on, maybe 2 million years later, they came around and they looked at it again. And they said, excuse me, we thought it was a bunch of rocks, but it's peopling. And it's alive. After all, it has done something intelligent. Because you see, we grow out of this world in exactly the same way that the apples grow on the apple tree. If evolution means anything, it means that. But you see, we curiously twist it. We say, well, first of all, in the beginning, there was nothing but gas and rock. And then intelligence happened to arise in it, you know, like a sort of fungus or slime on the top of the whole thing. But we're thinking in a way, you see, that disconnects the intelligence from the rocks. Where there are rocks, watch out. Watch out, because the rocks are going eventually to come alive. And they're going to have people crawling over them. It's only a matter of time. Just in the same way as the seed, the acorn, is eventually going to turn into the oak, because it has the potentiality of that within it. Rocks are not dead. You see, it depends on what kind of attitude you want to take to the world. If you want to put the world down, you say, oh well, fundamentally it's only just a lot of geology. It's a stupidity. And it so happens that a kind of a freak comes up in it which we call consciousness. That's an attitude that you take when you want to prove to people that you're a tough guy, that you're realistic, that you face facts, and that you don't indulge in wishful thinking. It's just a matter of role playing. And you must be aware of these things. They are fashions in the intellectual world. On the other hand, if you feel warm-hearted towards the universe, you put it up instead of putting it down. And you say about rocks, they're really conscious, but a very primitive form of consciousness. Because after all, when I take even this crystal here, which is glass, and go, well, it makes a noise. And that response, that resonance, is an extremely primitive form of consciousness. Our consciousness is much more subtle than that.
I don't play guitar as
When
well
you
as
hit a
I'd
bell
like
and it
to.
rings, you touch a crystal and it responds. Inside itself, it has a very simple reaction. It goes jangle inside, whereas we go jangle with all sorts of colors and lights and intelligence, ideas and thoughts. It's more complicated. But both are equally conscious, but conscious in different degrees. That's a perfectly acceptable idea.
I would like to be better at playing guitar. But in order to be better at playing guitar, I have to accept that there are things that I don't know. In Zen Buddhist meditation, the bell or gong, as it often is meant to be kind of an alarm, a little alert notification, if you will. It's meant to help bring you to your center. Remember what we're here for. We're here to think about how we can accept ourselves so that we can invite the change that we seek. Good morning, Rebel Soul Tech, hermano. Es bueno verte. Gracias por llegar. Estamos aceptando nuestros mismos para invitar el cambio que buscamos. So whenever you hear that bell, just find yourself back to center. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Meditation isn't something that you have to get good at, or it's not something that you have to practice all the time or be some kind of a spiritual master. It's available to everyone. You don't have to take it seriously. You don't have to think that there's something wrong with you because you have a hard time finding your center, or there's nothing wrong. Our society has conditioned us to feel like there's always something wrong with ourselves. Like we always have to be changing something to conform to what they expect. The only change that I seek is change for the better, to help me learn to love more strongly, help me learn to express that love more clearly. There's no right or wrong way to do this, and you're doing just fine. I mean, you're here. That's pretty significant. And this isn't about me. I know I'm showing you my guitar right now, but this isn't about me. Or should I say it's just as much about you. If there are things about yourself, thoughts, feelings, actions, patterns, habits, anything that you feel like you're having a really hard time changing, let me know. You can say it in the chat. You can say it in a whisper. You can say it in the Discord. You can even jump in the Discord voice chat and say it out loud. Or I love you. I'm grateful for your existence. I care not what you believe. I'm not concerned with the things that you've done in the past that you feel horrible about. We can let those things go now. The fact that you feel horrible about them says something about you as a person. That those are the things that you either have already changed or you would like to change. But first we have to accept those things. So I accept you unconditionally as you are. Every single one of you. Anybody listening right now on Twitch? Anybody watching this video later? Or just listening? And everyone who isn't and never will. I accept you as you are. And I pray for the strength in you to do the same, to accept yourself as you are. You're beautiful. We're gonna just meditate a little longer, probably another 10 minutes or so, and just mostly have some silence here. A little bit of sound here and there, and then we're gonna probably jam out. I might play some songs on my guitar. I don't know. Tell me what you want to do, but until about 10 o'clock Eastern time, so that's about 15 minutes. I think we're just gonna hang out with the drones and the bells and the drums, and I'll keep adding and subtracting things. I'm gonna be quiet, and we're just gonna meditate on the things that we've talked about here and that we've listened to Alan Watts talk about. And I highly recommend, if you're ever feeling like confused about life, just listen to some Alan Watts. Hopefully he'll straighten you out. Just remember that I love you. We all do. Everyone here, I know, loves each other. You don't have to say it. You just have to be yourself. I know. It's okay. We all have to make mistakes in order to learn. And we have to learn to put those mistakes behind us. Take the lessons from them and refine them into being the beautiful beings we are. And we move on to make a better world. I'm also gonna burn some incense here. Some Palo Santo. Maybe we'll listen to Ellen some more.
You're a mess. And you've got to be educated and schooled and whipped until you're human. So that these attitudes which are inculcated into us in infancy go on into old age. The way you start out is liable to be the way you finish. So people going around fundamentally feeling that they don't belong. Because their parents said to them in the first place, look, you don't really belong here. You're here on sufferance. You're on probation. You're not a human being yet. And people feel this right on into old age. And so they figure that the universe is presided over by this awful kind of God the Father parent, who, yes, has our best interest at heart, is loving, but who spares the rod spoils the child. Whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. So everybody's sort of, when's it going to hit next? So don't feel that they belong. So we get this ghastly, what I call Christian ego, a little bit Jewish too. Who really feels that he's homeless, he's an orphan. Even the Christians say we are sons of God by adoption, grace. Not real sons, but by adoption and grace and suffering. And so comes this sensation, so characteristic of Western man and indeed of all highly civilized people, of being a stranger in the earth, a momentary flash of consciousness between two eternal flags, and therefore in constant contentiousness with everything around you, not only with other people, but with the earth, the waters, and the symbol of it all in our culture is the bulldozer. Where I live, aboard a ferry boat, there is opposite us, across the water, or was opposite to us, some lovely hills. They are going to put houses there. But they are going to try and put the sort of houses you would find in the suburban tract lot, on a hill of all things. Because a good architect can make a house fit the hill. He doesn't have to destroy the hill to put a house on it. And if you want to live on a hill, obviously you want to live on a hill. And you don't want to destroy the hill by virtue of living on it. But that's what they do, especially in California. Because Texas is kind of flat, and they don't have to do that kind of thing. In California, where we've got lots of hills, they always scrape the tops off them till they're perfectly flat. And then they put houses on, and then they scrape them off in terraces all the way down. They upset the ecology of the hill, and eventually all the houses fall down. And so what? But by that time the payments have been made. But that's because the builder doesn't feel that the external world is his own body. It is. The external world is your own body extended. So he, instead of going up to the hill and saying, good afternoon, I very much want to live here, and I want to like to know what kind of house you would like to have built on you. An intelligent architect always does that. Instead of that, he has a prejudice about what kind of a house is a house. And he has to make the hill submit to this prejudice. So he has to ruin the hill and get rid of it, pretty much, and put the house on. He's absolutely out of his mind. He's out of his mind because he doesn't realize that the external world is his body. When he realizes that, he'll get his mind back.
Teaching me when but I'm embarrassed, but it's all nuance. And whatever it is, everybody has one these days. And
I believe that if we are
So I'm going to get some water. And yeah, you know, as we're gonna kind of bring it up very gently for you into some grooves, I think. Um, and then we're gonna go visit somebody else. I'm not sure who. I'm open to suggestions. All right. I hope this has been a nice meditation for everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I feel very
Relaxed, relaxed, and ready to face the day. Uh, Something that I have to accept about myself is that I'm not a very neat person. Pretty messy, in fact, and I always have been. And I want to change that. So I'm accepting it. I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm a neat person. But I can be one. First, I have to accept that I am not one. But we're not fixed. We can always change. People aren't all set in their ways. They don't have to be, at least. You just have to be open to the change. And accept it. And accept that you're worthy of it. You're worthy of being the person that you want to be. You deserve it. And like I said before, don't take any of this too seriously, or you know, you'll just get caught up in taking it seriously instead of the actual intention, which is to learn how to enjoy life and to have fun and to love each other without restrictions or conditions, without fear of rejection, without the anxiety that somebody's gonna misinterpret our love. My love for you is pure. It has no expectations. My only hope is that you'll pay it forward. Just as I pay forward the love that I receive from you. So, I don't even know if I want to bring it into like a kind of a hype vibe right now. I just kind of want to see if there's something else super chill going on and we can just go there because I'm kind of feeling at a loss for anything else to do and I want to kind of clean. I really need to clean this room. It's very important. It'll make things a lot better. It'll mean that I can dance on stream. I'll be able to feel comfortable. I can show you guys my stuff, my books, and my toys, and all the things that I've collected over the years. Share my life with you. You can get to know me. You can be my nomies. You already are. I'm eternally and indescribably grateful for every single one of you.
Thank you. You are beautiful. You're special. You're unique. You're talented. And you're kind and loving. And even if sometimes you do things that don't seem kind or loving, we all do. That's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself at all. We're all just learning. I'm going to see if anybody else is doing some kind of a morning meditation or something super mellow. Let me see what musical Moob Slap is doing. It says he's just chatting. If Mooby's just chatting, we should go hang out with Mooby. Let me just see if he's actually just chatting. It's going to be a little more hypey, a little more hype. He's got some fake boobs. But you know what? Let's go hang out with Mooby. Let me just see if anybody else is on. Oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy bring the vibe up for us, and I'm just gonna play him in the background while we raid him. Them. Mr. Kitty Biscuits. So let me. And if you're just joining us, thank you. Feel free to watch the VOD. I'm going to leave it up for a while. I'll leave these Sunday meditations up. The other things I take down pretty quickly, but I'll leave these up for a while, and then I'll put them on my main YouTube channel where it's public. Because this is This is for you. I want you to be able to come back to this anytime that you're feeling like, I don't know, like you need a reminder that someone loves you. And that someone should be you. At least one of them should be. Because you're awesome. You are so awesome. And I say it a lot, and I'll keep saying it, just so you remember. Just so that I remember. I'm grateful for all of you, every single one of you, and I am just overwhelmed by the support and love that I have received in this community. I've wanted to do this kind of thing for so long, and I've just never had an outlet for it. So thank you so much. I guess I just never knew there was an outlet for it. This thing's been here for quite a while, hasn't it? So much love to all y'all lurking. I see you. I see you lurking. I don't know who you are, but I see that there's some people lurking, and I'm super grateful that you're here and that you shared this experience with me. This experiment. This is all experimental. I have a lifetime of experience being guided in meditations, but leading them is kind of new to me. So if you have any suggestions or anything that you'd like to share, about the meditation, hit me up in the Discord. That's gonna be the best way. Like, you can whisper at me here, but it's kind of I'm having trouble typing right now, but !Discord will get you there. Thank you all. I truly do love you. And if you ever need a little bit of proof, just hit me up. I'll do whatever I can do. Just accept yourself as you are and welcome the change you seek. Keep on loving each other. And we're going to check out Mr. Kitty Biscuits. He's got one of Open Set scenes on his screen, it looks like. So let me turn it up kind of slowly. But yo, we're going to get down, y'all. We're going to celebrate. We're going to love ourselves and each other. And we're going to love Mr. Kitty Biscuits. So give him some Know Me love when you get up in here. If you're a sub, blast that Know Me emote at him. If not, just blast him with hearts and shit. This dude is legit one of the coolest people I know. Let's go show Mr. Kitty Biscuits lots of love, y'all. I love you so much, Nomies.